Hi there. My name is Leslie Feger, and I would like to welcome you to this Delphin World webinar. Today's topic will be the all-time best-selling book about the creation of success. Many self-made millionaires will tell you that it was one book that made the greatest contribution to their success, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And yet, millions of people have read this book without having achieved any great success as a result of having read it. Why? Napoleon Hill himself says that the secret to creating wealth and success is in the book on every page, but hidden in plain view. Self-made millionaires agree with him. Still, most readers don't get the major aha that leads to success and wealth. Why is it that most readers never uncover the secret? Hill himself claims that you have to be ready and willing to receive the secret. Most are willing. Are you ready? I have read the book almost 20 times, and although I thought I had uncovered the secret the very first time I read the book at 18 years of age, I had not. I was more than willing, but I was not ready. I did not discover it the second or the third time either, or the 10th or the 15th time, even though each time I reread this great book, I thought anew that I had finally uncovered Hill's hidden in plain sight secrets. Those who know my personal story will remember that it was not until I was 45 years of age that I finally managed to fully grasp the millionaire mindset secrets that Hill and other great mentors have written about so eloquently. And as soon as I had understood and applied those success principles, I created a $1 million income in less than 1 year. And so now, without further ado, here is my quick summary of my insights into Napoleon Hill's 13 Secrets of Success from Think and Grow Rich. Chapter 1, Desire. It is not accidental that Hill begins with desire. Success always begins with desire. Most people want to be successful. Wanting success is a total waste of time. Worse, it just produces frustration. Only a burning, all-consuming, fervent, and passionate desire will produce the exceptional results that make up true success. To want is best understood by its second meaning in the dictionary, lack. To want for something is to lack something. And so long as you merely want success, you will lack success. Wanting is mere wishful thinking. Desire, on the other hand, is an extremely potent force. It is a supreme motivator. It is a metaphysical principle of creation. Desire is an energetic emanation of the human spirit that enacts the law of attraction. Desire is the metaphysical equivalent of gravity. Desire draws to you the thing desired, or the elements that will constitute the thing desired. Desire is the fuel that ignites the fire that transmutes thoughts into things. The sad truth about most people who claim to want success is that they actually do not desire success. What they desire is comfort and security. But the path to real success often demands that you give up comfort and security in order to gain rewards greater than mere creature comforts or minor financial security. For years and years, I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted and wanted, to no avail. It was not until one day, in my frustration and anger, I graduated from wanting to truly desiring success. And as a result, I was almost magically catapulted into millionaire status. It was the burning passion of fervent desire that pushed me out of my comfort zone of mediocrity and security and empowered me to achieve real success. It was my desire that enabled me to get past the fear of failure and get past the frustration of the obstacles to achieve the success I had wanted for so many years. You too must have or develop a burning passion for success. Without it, you are highly unlikely to achieve success. So bottom line, get passionate or stay home. So this is my critical insight from chapter 1. Your desire must be specific. It must be attached to a clear and specific ideal, a clear and consistent thought picture of what success means to you. Chapter 2, Faith. Hill says, all thoughts that have been emotionalized or given feeling through desire and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart. What he alludes to, but does not fully explain, is that it is our beliefs themselves that either empower us to soar to previously unimaginable heights or to chain us to the lower echelons of achievement. Not only must you have a burning desire for a specific thought of success, but you must also have the faith or belief that success is not only available to you as an abstract, but it is your birthright. And all you need to do is claim it as your own, and it shall be yours. Your faith in your ideal and your faith in your right to the havingness of this ideal is crucial to your being able to end up having it. Most people have their faith or belief system formed by the evidence of what has already happened or has been made manifest in their lives previously. As a result, they find it difficult to believe in things that are not historically proven. And if what has been historically proven for the general public and for you personally thus far is mediocrity, then without the belief in the potentiality of success as being as real as the actuality of mediocrity, you will not be able to achieve the imagined ideal of success. Hill also goes on to say that autosuggestion or repeated affirmations can enable faith and belief. He does not address the issue of core beliefs that can, despite all affirmations to the contrary, imprison a person in lack and limitation. Hill himself was fortunate that his association with Carnegie and the other self-made successful people that Carnegie introduced him to enabled him, over time, to discard any core beliefs he may have had about wealth or poverty and success or failure, and to take on new core beliefs. He was, in effect, brainwashed by his own research into the principles of success so that his core beliefs became those he wrote about. You may have to do the same. Brainwash yourself. Cleanse your mind of any limiting core beliefs that you may hold so that new, empowering beliefs can be installed. How to do that is addressed in some detail in my book, Your Prosperity Paradigm. The tools you need to do this brainwashing are there for you to discover and apply so that you may achieve the results, the success you desire. Faith is, to quote Christianity's greatest salesman, Paul, the evidence of things not yet seen. Doubt can turn a molehill into a mountain, and faith can move mountains. Know this: there are two separate, energetic, vibrational outputs of human consciousness that lead to creation or conscious manifestation when they are braided together. The first is concrete, specific, repetitive, idealized thought combined with desire, that emotionalized thought that Hill refers to. The second is firm, profound belief or faith in the actuality of an ideal combined with intentionality of behavior. Have faith, it shall come to pass. So this is my critical insight from chapter 2. You must have both electromagnetic braids of consciousness happening at the same time. Thought plus desire and faith plus intent. Chapter 3, Autosuggestion. Hill emphasizes in this chapter, for the second time in the book, the crucial importance of having clearly defined written goals that are repeated, preferably out loud, to oneself throughout the day. Now he goes further and states that it is very important to affirm one's goals and ideals at some quiet time, such as just before falling asleep. He may have been unfamiliar with meditation techniques or may have been reluctant to encourage their use in a time when such things were seen to be a part of Eastern mysticism or as being out of sync with his obvious Christian beliefs. Here is why the quiet time is ideal for autosuggestion or affirmation. When you intentionally think about, repeat, and affirm your ideals, you are planting the thought seeds that will grow to bear fruit. When your mind is busy with all kinds of distracting thoughts, or worse, non-contributory or negative thoughts, you are planting your thought seeds amongst an abundance of weeds. When your mind is still, relaxed, and focused, you are, in effect, preparing fresh and fertile, weed-free ground in which to plant your thought seeds. In addition to preparing the ideal mental ground to plant your thought seeds, meditation also stills your mind so that intuition can be accessed, insight can be attained, and your connectivity to the absolute can be ascertained. And since all creativity springs from the potentiality of the infinite and absolute, it only makes practical sense to become as intimate with the infinite as you can manage. Meditation is the well-worn and proven method of achieving this intimacy. Repeated affirmation of ideals and goals is highly effective. It is even more effective when done in a meditative state. It is even more effective when you use insight, obtained through meditation and contemplation of self, to come to know and consciously choose which core beliefs you will hold, discard, or take on. You are fortunate beyond measure in comparison to those who lived when Hill originally wrote Think and Grow Rich. Not only is the ignorance of and prejudice against meditation almost gone from the educated people of today, there are now several advanced techniques enabled by scientific understanding and application of brainwave states and their relationship to mental activity. We have all been, in a sense, brainwashed by our parents, our teachers, and our societal groupthink to hold certain expectations and certain beliefs. Choosing to enact what Hill calls autosuggestion and affirmation is choosing to do your own intentional brainwashing in order to program yourself for success. Hill proposed writing down your ideals and goals on 3x5 cards and carrying them with you. I support this. There is something magical in writing, not typing, your goals. In today's world, however, you can also record your goals, ideals, and affirmations into MP3 files and listen to them while driving, walking, or standing in line at the bank to deposit your developing wealth. Your own voice repeating over and over again your affirmations of your ideals and goals will implant these into your subconscious tape loop that runs in the background 24/7. This is the critical insight from Chapter 3. You talk to yourself all day, every day. That subconscious tape loop of repetitive thoughts is how you describe reality to yourself. You need to take control of that conversation. Chapter 4. Specialized knowledge. In this chapter of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill goes to great lengths to make the distinction between generalized knowledge and specialized knowledge, and between formal education and practical information. By citing examples of the lives of certain individuals in an offhand manner, Hill alludes to the most important thing about knowledge. Here it is, plainly spoken. Knowledge, by and of itself, has little, if any, value. You may find that shocking, or at least contrary to everything you've been taught, but it is true. Knowledge only becomes valuable in its application. You may have heard that knowledge is power. That is wrong. It is applied knowledge that begets power, wealth, and the advancement of humanity. The secret is in the application, not in the knowledge itself. For years, I considered myself to be highly educated about success. I had a massive library of books, tapes, and courses. I willfully ignored the evidence of my own lack of success, or great success, considering it to be just a temporary aberration. Once I really got that it is in the application, not the mere possession of knowledge, that produces results, I went from being average to highly successful in a matter of months. To quote one of the wisest of teachers, Confucius, the essence of knowledge is having it to apply it, not having it to confess your ignorance. Hill does point out in the first paragraph of this chapter that although universities possess a great wealth of knowledge, professors, for the most part, although surrounded by all this knowledge, and though themselves very knowledgeable, they have themselves little or no money, while many people of little formal education go on to produce great wealth and great material advancements for all humanity. And for most of us on planet Earth these days, we have access through the internet to more knowledge than even the greatest university library. We have literally no excuse for remaining ignorant of any subject. Hill also alludes to, but does not spell out plainly, that the very best form of specialized knowledge that a person who desires success and wealth can obtain is the knowledge of how to become successful. We teach our children that an education will bring them success and happiness, but neglect to tell them what specific education that is, and further neglect to say that it is the application of that specific education that will bring success and happiness. Hill makes great use of the story of Henry Ford proving in the courtroom that although he was uneducated, he was not ignorant because, as he said it, any time I should wish to know something specific, I can simply push a button on my desk and some person who knows the answer will come to provide it to me. These days, with the accumulation of information and training being as easy as the click of a mouse, there is no excuse for being unsuccessful in any field, except that you are ignorant of the principles of success or for some personal perversity refuse to apply them to your life. And so this is my critical insight from chapter 4. Educate yourself about how to best realize your passion and purpose, and then apply that knowledge to your daily actions. Chapter 5. Imagination. In this chapter, Hill not only points out the role of imagination in human development, but also makes the clear distinction between the two main types of imagination, which he calls synthetic imagination and creative imagination. This distinction is a critical understanding. I, or others, may have chosen to label and explain in our own writings these distinctions in different ways, but the labels do not matter. Most people who claim to use their imagination are using the type Hill calls synthetic imagination, and it is of little use save for personal entertainment. Synthetic imagination is the exploration and refinement of existing effects. Creative imagination is the causal force that creates effects. All things, from the invention of writing to the invention of the internet, came about because of the use of creative imagination. Synthetic imagination merely, at best, can improve upon what already exists. The bringing of new things into existence requires the use of creative imagination. The creation of wealth can be obtained with diligence through the informed and practical use of synthetic imagination. For example, creating a better mousetrap or a better smartphone. But most wealth and most advancement in human technology comes about through the use of creative imagination. Succinctly put, your imagination is the workshop in which you, mostly without conscious recognition, create the results that show up in your life. What you hold as an image in your mind is what shows up in your life. If what you are imagining is simply a rehash of what has already occurred or been created by others, then your results shall be limited to what has been, not what can be. The sad, sad, sad thing that we inflict upon our children and ourselves is the dampening of imagination. We say, "It is only in your imagination." That is the common refrain. We neglect to tell our children or reinforce to ourselves that all great and wonderful things that exist in our world have their genesis only in imagination. What is not recognized, honored, and amplified is that it is the dreamers, the Imagineers, who go on to produce the new, the wonderful, the unique advancements that end up creating not only personal wealth, but greater wealth and well-being for all humankind. So here we are, my critical insight from Chapter 5. That which you imagine, expect, and visualize in your internal world is that which gets produced in your external world. Chapter 6, Organized Planning. This, in my opinion, is the weakest chapter of Hill's book. He speaks of the need for organized planning, but skirts around the issue, instead offering suggestions about how to get a job and writes some useless paragraphs extolling the American way, which, in any case, no longer exists as he describes it. But this is the point. Every noteworthy or great accomplishment came about because there was a plan. What Hill should have done, and does do so in other chapters, is point out the need to have concrete written goals that are in harmony with one's chosen purpose and ideals. Goals are not vague aspirations like, "I want to be rich." They are concrete, defined steps in the fulfillment of your personal vision or purpose. They constitute a specific plan. I am always amazed by how many people continue to refuse, either through laziness or a lack of belief in the necessity, to have clear, concise, written goals, despite being presented again and again with the evidence that those who do have written goals succeed and those who do not, do not. There have been many studies about the effectiveness of having written goals, and they invariably show the same results. 95% of the people who have and daily refer to written goals and plans end up accomplishing them. And 95% of the people who do not have written plans or goals do not accomplish much of anything. If you can hear this and not have begun the process of having written goals by the time you go to bed tonight, you should know that you are choosing failure. Businesses that succeed have a business plan. The business of life also requires a plan. When you have a plan, you know what you are about, you know when you are on or off track, you can measure your progress, you can tell others who might enroll in your vision what it is that needs doing, you can provide leadership to all those who enroll in your plan, and most importantly, you know what to do with your time, your energy, and resources. A plan is that which takes the imaginal into the real. And finally, I offer a quote from good old Ben Franklin. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Okay, my critical insight from Chapter 6. Without a roadmap to get you from where you are at to where you want to get to, you will just end up wandering around aimlessly. Chapter 7, Decision. Napoleon Hill says this: analysis of several hundred people
who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark, disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed at all. People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing these decisions quickly and often. Another Napoleon, Bonaparte, says this: "Nothing is more difficult and therefore more precious than to be able to decide." The ability to make clear, firm, resolute decisions is as precious a gift as life itself. Human beings have the power to make conscious choices. It is what enables human beings to take control of their lives, to rise above chance and circumstance, and to chart a destiny. Those who fail to make conscious choices may as well not have any free will, for they squander the gift of decisiveness. The successful and happy human being is one in whom choice is intentional and purposeful. Decision produces results. It can also be said that the failure to decide is in itself a decision to let your life be governed by event and circumstance. Intentional decision can be called choice by design. Lack of decisiveness is choice by default. It is also a choice. It is a decision to choose unhappiness, mediocrity, and commonality. That great founder of American psychology, William James, said, "There is no more miserable human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision." Those who make decisions are the masters of their fate. Those who don't are the servants of fate. Those who decide to become, to enact, and to have, according to their own design, are assisted by the laws of creation. There is enormous power unleashed by a simple decision. Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen." Unfortunately, many people miss the importance of the last phrase in Napoleon Hill's first sentence in the paragraph I quoted a couple of minutes ago, and they treat their decisions like men treat our TV remote control, constantly changing from one expectation to another. So the critical insight of mine from chapter 7: decisions should be specific and firm. As in the following example, writing down, "I resolve this day," and write down the date, "to do such and such, and to stay the course until it is done." Which brings us to Hill's 8th secret of success: persistence. Chapter 8, persistence. Hill says this: "Persistence is an essential factor in transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent." He goes on to explain that desire, or passion, plus the power of will, or persistence, make an irresistible pair and almost always end up producing wealth. A long attention span, combined with determination, is an attribute shared by all successful people. These days, it seems like most people don't have the attention span of a gnat. They channel surf. Their opinions change from day to day. They cannot read anything longer than an Instagram post, and they move from fad to fad. They change from one business opportunity to the next without ever waiting for their work to bear fruit. Thomas Edison commented that 90% of people quit 90% of the way to accomplishing their goals. These days, it seems like 99% quit a mere 20% of the way. Bottom line, those who persist win. Those who do not lose. This is as true today as it was more than 80 years ago when Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. It seems that the only thing that most people have the capacity to persist with is their bad habits of thinking and believing. And despite the overwhelming evidence that the way they think and what they believe is not producing the results they desire, they persist in hanging on to what does not work. So define your ideals, plan their enactment, and persist in your plan, and you will produce results. Desire and faith, or belief, are the fuel that produces persistence, and persistence turns stumbling blocks into stepping stones on your pathway to success. Many folks perceive a minor molehill as an insurmountable mountain blocking their path forward. The select few choose to see a mountain in their path as an opportunity to gain a vaster perspective on their pathway forward. It is simply a matter of attitude. Purpose plus passion plus persistence equals prosperity. Ex-President of the United States, Calvin Coolidge, said it clearly: nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Okay, so my critical insight from Chapter 8. Your passion for, belief in, and commitment to your purpose and ideals will ensure that you stay the course until success is achieved. Chapter 9, The Power of the Mastermind. This is my favorite chapter in the entire Think and Grow Rich book. Not just because Hill stresses the importance of having a mastermind group of like-minded people, but also because he clearly explains the value of specific knowledge and that power is derived only from the direct and purposeful application of knowledge. The importance of brainstorming with like-minded individuals cannot be overstated. Work groups, executive teams, board members are all the direct recognition that the collective power of several minds working and planning together can accomplish much more than one mind alone. Two or more minds working in harmony produce a synergistic energy that weaves a concrete reality out of purpose, vision, and determination. Harmony is not just some nicey-nice, feel-good environment. All creation is comprised of vibration. Harmonious vibrations are creative. Discordant vibrations are destructive. When you intentionally place yourself into a harmonious position with a group of like-minded people, you are acting in concert with the natural laws of universal creation. The people you hang around with are a part of your mastermind team. Pay close attention to the quality of thinking that your associates have. Most people, unfortunately, prefer to hang around with those who do not challenge them. It is more comfortable. So ask yourself, what do you, your friends, and associates talk about? Below average people talk about other people. They read things like People magazine, and in so doing, affirm that the activities and successes of other people are more real and more valuable than their own. Average people talk about things, events, and circumstances, and watch the nightly network Nightmare News, and in so doing, affirm that the conditions of the world determine the quality of their lives. Above average people talk about ideas and concepts, read good books, take self improvement courses, and in so doing, affirm that their own success is dependent upon learning and applying the right ideas. Super successful people talk about their own ideals and visions, communicate about them with other successful people, and in so doing, affirm that their success derives from their personal power to think, desire, believe, and act with intent and purpose. If you had the opportunity to have successful people as your personal advisors, coaching you to become all that you are capable of becoming, and mentoring you to achieve the fulfillment of your potential, would you take it? It is available to you online. Okay, the critical insight from Chapter 9. Synergy is created when two or more minds are focused on a set of ideals, and that synergy produces greater results than one mind alone can accomplish. Chapter 10, Transmutation. Boy, I had a tough time with this chapter when I first read the book in my youth. I honestly thought that although I recognize that there is a link between creativity and sexuality, this chapter was mostly some old man's rationalization for waning sexual vitality. It was not until I had studied Kundalini and the chakras and had begun to understand the true vibratory nature of creation that it became clear that what Hill was talking about was a prime metaphysical understanding about creative energy and how to utilize it. It was also, as he predicted, not until I had passed my 40th birthday that I actually began to clue into what he was talking about. We have culturally so many moralistic assumptions and beliefs about sexual energy that we prevent ourselves from fully understanding what it is and what it is capable of. The whole concept is so complex that several books could be, and have been, written about the subject without fully explaining it. And I obviously cannot do the subject justice in this summary either. Another thing, many women of today who read Think and Grow Rich may understandably be put off by Hill's seemingly sexist attitude. However, it is a huge mistake to miss the vital importance of Hill's message in this chapter by dismissing his supposed prejudice through some prejudice of one's own. First, it should be understood that he was immersed in the culture of his times. And second, it should not be missed that women already have a greater innate capacity to consciously use sexual energy and attractiveness to get what they want in life, and that many men need to be educated about how to use their own power. Sexual energy is also closely related to charisma, and charisma attracts not only other people, but also wealth and power. The drive for success is, coincidentally, often also strongest in those who also have a high sexual drive. The truly empowered person is one who has learned, as Hill says, to transmute much of that sexual energy into creative energy and not squander it in vain physical pursuits. So my critical insight for Chapter 10 is this. Sexual energy is creative energy. You can train yourself to use it metaphysically instead of just physically. Chapter 11, the subconscious mind. It is quite clear to any reader of this chapter who has also read Charles Haanel's The Master Key that Hill draws heavily on that earlier work to formulate his thoughts for this chapter. It was Haanel, not Hill, who gave me my personal aha moment about the real nature of success and its source as being within the mind rather than in the external world. And I will cycle back to the Master Key at the end of this presentation. Most people have little understanding of the workings of their conscious mind, and even less understanding of the workings of their subconscious mind. Here are a few essential understandings you need to acquire. It is the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind, that exerts the most control over your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and actions, and thus your results. The subconscious, however, can be consciously programmed and controlled by the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the source of insight, intuition, imagination, and creativity. The subconscious mind is also your direct link to the collective subconsciousness of humanity, which also has a greater influence on your beliefs, thoughts, and actions than does your conscious mind. The subconscious mind is also your direct link to universal consciousness, which is the source of all power and creativity. Your subconscious mind is accessible to you only when you learn how to still the hyperactivity of the conscious mind, and meditation techniques are the best way to accomplish this control. My critical insight from Chapter 11. You have the choice to either allow the previous programming of your subconscious mind to control your results, or to consciously reprogram your subconscious mind to produce bigger, better results. Chapter 12, the brain. Hill can be forgiven, I think, for mixing brain and mind together as if they were one and the same thing. Many people still do the same thing. It is a common error. However, simply because mind is evident in the brain does not mean that one is synonymous with the other any more than a glass should be confused with the water it contains. The attributes of the brain are quite simple. It is a mass of biological material that permits electrochemical activity. The attributes of the mind are quite a little bit more complex. Hill also shows, once again, his limited knowledge of brain-mind activities and meditation techniques here. He refers again to the increased frequency of the mind-brain when creativity is engaged. And although there is some truth to the idea that brainwave activity spikes momentarily during periods of intense creativity, it is now pretty well understood that creativity, insight, intuition, and the so-called super-learning state come about when brainwave activity is reduced from the normal beta frequencies of 15 to 75 cycles per second to the alpha state frequencies of between 7 to 14 cycles per second. It is through the deliberate slowing down of the activities of the conscious mind that the subconscious attributes of the mind can be accessed. Deeper meditative states like theta and delta, which exhibit even slower brainwave activity, provide access to even deeper subconscious attributes of the mind, and through which the infinite universal intelligence can also be perceived and accessed. So, contrary to popular misconception, it is not increased brain activity that produces great ideas or resulting wealth. It is in reducing and consciously controlling the specific activities of mind, for example, thought, that produces inspiration, insight, and wealth. It is now understood that the average human being has about 60,000 thoughts per day. 99% of these are non-productive, non-contributory, random subconscious noise. The few who learn how to examine and exert control over the thoughts that they allow to be repeated in the mind are the ones who attain, achieve, and accomplish so much more than their fellow human beings. It is not the general increased vibration of mental activity as described by Hill, but the increased frequency of specific, consciously chosen thoughts that lead to enhanced creativity and productivity. A critical insight from Chapter 12. Your mind is a tool. How you use that tool is up to you. Anyone can use the tools of a hammer and chisel to break apart concrete. Michelangelo used those same tools to create the statue of David. Chapter 13, Hill's final chapter. The Sixth Sense. This chapter is so profound that I hesitate to even comment on it. Long before people began channeling discarnate entities for their wisdom, Napoleon Hill was having full cabinet meetings in his imagination with men, many long dead, that he considered to be the wise ones. At one point he stopped, fearful that his imaginary meetings were becoming more real than everyday reality. And his imaginary mastermind mentors came to him to demand that he continue his work or perish for refusing to fulfill his destiny. And so he did. And what a great work it has proven to be. Much of the wealth of the last half of the 20th century came about because of the actions taken by men and women who were directly inspired by Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich to create not only their own great personal wealth, but an increase in wealth and well-being for all humanity. What Hill calls the sixth sense is your direct and intimate connection to the infinite, ineffable, universal mind, the source of all that is and all that can be. You are the channel whereby the infinite makes manifest the finite. You are, therefore, wealthy beyond measure. All you need to do is claim your birthright. So my critical insight for this chapter. Your true source of power is your ability to connect to and harmonize with the infinite intelligence that creates, sustains, and enlivens the whole universe. And so, now to my closing thoughts. Learn to think clearly, purposefully, creatively. Attach to those idealized thoughts a passionate desire to have them made manifest. Have faith that it shall be so. Attach to your belief the firm intent that your beingness and actions will cause those ideals to be made real. And so it shall be. Think and Grow Rich is a gem. It should be required reading in all schools. Even its few errors that are themselves apparent to us now, 3/4 of a century later, are due mostly to the advances that have come about in great part due to the knowledge and inspiration provided by Hill himself. If you have not yet read Think and Grow Rich, read it now. If you have already read Think and Grow Rich, read it again now. Perhaps my insights will give you your own deeper insights. What exactly are you thinking? Why? To what purpose? What are you desiring? What do you have faith in? Do you believe in yourself and your right to wealth? To what intent do you think what you think? Say what you say. Do what you do. Okay, here is Napoleon Hill's Secret of Success explained. Clear, consistent thought entwined with fervent desire, combined with profound belief, entwined with purposeful intent, creates the results you consciously choose to have in your life. Create an ideal, form a plan, affirm its reality, and persist until it is made manifest in your life. Know that you are given the power to create what you desire, and then just do it. Just do it. Okay, although Hill is most famous for his book, Think and Grow Rich, he also wrote several other books. His first one was The Law of Success, published in 1925. His last one was The Master Key to Riches, published in 1945. Okay, let's cycle back and talk briefly about The Master Key by Charles Haanel. The year was 1912. Haanel was 46 years old when he wrote The Master Key System and started marketing it as a monthly self-study correspondence course. I first heard about it in 1974, but foolishly paid no heed at the time. 16 years later, I was introduced to it again, and I knew immediately that I had discovered the keystone, the source code, and I went on to study it intently over the next 15 years. And apparently, it also had a profound effect on Napoleon Hill. In April of 1919, before The Law of Success, before Think and Grow Rich, before The Master Key to Riches, Napoleon Hill wrote a letter to Charles Haanel. In that letter, he wrote this paragraph. I believe in giving credit where it is due. Therefore, I believe I ought to inform you that my present success and the success which has followed my work as president of the Napoleon Hill Institute is due largely to the principles laid down in the Master Key System. Cordially and sincerely, Napoleon Hill. In September of 1995, I sat down and wrote my interpretation of the Master Key, interlaced it with some of Haanel's original text, and so co-authored a book with a man who had died exactly 6 months to the day before I was born. Like Haanel, I originally sold it as a self-study course and went on to conduct several seminars based on that work. Much of the course material on this website is an outgrowth of my study and application of the Master Key.
Although I had gained much from studying Think and Grow Rich, I owe much, much more to my study of the Master Key. I like to think of Think and Grow Rich as essentially high school level education and their Master Key as a postgraduate university program. In months 5 and 6 of your membership, we will explore the Master Key principles that Napoleon Hill referred to in his letter, the principles that both he and I attribute our own personal success to. Those 12 videos await you. In the meantime, I hope that my insights into Think and Grow Rich have been of value to you and have prepared you for the Step into Success course, which is next for you in this first month of your Delphin World membership subscription. I am grateful that you have chosen to share your personal journey to self-actualization and success with me by becoming a part of the global Delphin World community. Be sure to join and participate in the private Delphin World Facebook group so that you can connect with your fellow success-minded folks from all around the world. I will leave you with one of the most concise and powerful sentences ever written by any human being. Anything the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Okay, that's it for this video. See you soon. Ciao for now.